Ishan will give a brief introduction and then we'll take questions from Dharmesh from Sky Sports News, and then we'll move on to the written press in specific order. We've outlined nationals first, then the locals, and then the Sundays. Thereafter we'll break for one-on-one. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Ishan who will introduce Neil.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you for coming. I just want to welcome the press. We really appreciate it. It's a great turnout, so thank you. Let me begin by introducing myself first. I'm Ishan Saxena, and I joined QPR a few months ago as the Chief Executive. Just recently, I was asked to become Chairman by the Board, and it's in that capacity I am very happy to announce Neil Warnock as our new manager. As we all know, QPR has a rich and proud heritage. We have a passionate, supportive, and a very long-standing fan base. We have a history of being known as a family club. And it's in that spirit I want to welcome Neil as the newest member in the QPR family. At this stage in QPR, we believe what's most important is to reintroduce and bring back stability into the club. Neil is a vastly experienced manager with a phenomenal track record. And I believe not only will he bring back the stability that we need in QPR, but will lead the way in building a bright future for QPR. He has vision, he has passion, grounded in a set of values that we admire. Equally importantly is the fact that Neil has always been well loved by all his fans. Well, his own fans at least. But I wanted to bring someone to QPR who our fans could be proud of and could say is our manager for the next 3.5 years. I believe Neil is the complete package as a manager, and he's always been our #1 choice. On behalf of the board at QPR, the employees, the playing squad, and of course our fans, I want to let Neil know that he has 100% of our trust and faith. And we look forward to a very exciting ride ahead with him.
Neil, first of all, Neil Warnock, QPR manager. How does that sound?
Well, it's something I didn't envisage, obviously, over the last couple of years, but it's always been a great football traditional club. Always the pitch itself and the ground. I've always loved that type of pitch. Palace was the same. Fans right on top of you and good banter when you come there. Give and take a few jibes from the fans, and just my type of atmosphere. I'm not really a modern, brand new, multi-story guy. I think my team seem to thrive on that sort of atmosphere, and I've always thought it were a fantastic fan. The excitement at Loftus Road.
It's a 3.5-year contract. It's not been the case with former QPR managers. Have you been given assurances that you'll be able to see this job through?
Sorry, I thought it was a 3.5-week contract. I didn't realise. It was, I think, obviously, what Ishan talks about is a very exciting prospect, really. I think, at my age, we keep talking about my age, I think I retired about 5 or 6 years ago. And it has to be something special, really, for the challenge ahead, really. The challenge I've just been at was a great challenge. Obviously Simon Jordan was a fantastic chairman to me. That's the only reason I came down in the first place, and then fell in love with the crowd and everything else. So that was a special time for me there. And this is far, it's now another challenge ahead of me. And when I look at Ishan and I meet the genuine people who, in football, you look a lot of people in the eye and you think, aye. But right from the start, I felt that these two gentlemen believed in what they wanted. And it's always great to know that you're their #1 choice. So it was it's a super time for me to come to somewhere steady. I think that was the main thing for me and my family. A 3.5-year contract to build a club, not just to this season, but to actually try and build a club going forward, so that when I do leave, the legacy will be there for many years to come. And it's the stability obviously has not been around for a while, but I do think it's the right challenge at the right time for me, and I love London as well. It's I've really enjoyed my time at Palace. So it's sort of had all the ingredients for me, and all I want is a chance. You know, I mean, we were very, very unfortunate at Palace with obviously the administrator coming in. The only administrator that would touch the club in a million years. Everybody else turned it down because it just wasn't a job for the administrator. So I'm really disappointed in that. But we'll talk about that at another time, I would imagine.
You said that you enjoyed your time at Palace, but of late there were difficult times, well-publicised difficult times. The administrator, just a couple of days ago, said that you told him you didn't have the stomach for the fight.
Yeah,
now,
I think,
what was your reaction to that?
Well, I think when he also introduced Paul Hart, he said, when they asked him why Paul Hart, he did say, well, I'm an accountant. I think that sums it up, really. Like I say, I don't think any other administrator would have touched it with a barge pole, because it just wasn't fair. We shouldn't have had the points. The people who have put it into administration are not going to get the money any earlier. So I still don't understand why. When he first came in, obviously, he made it clear that the new owners could be any time and they could want their own manager. And it's been very difficult working with him. As you say, he has an high opinion of himself, and you know, one or two of my ex-chairmen have said similar things when I've left, which were really just talking for the sake of justifying whatever they've done. But they've got a very, very good compensation fee for me. I don't think he turned his nose up at that. And you know, I think that the biggest thing for me of late, when we've been scratching around, was when I found out that the agent that the administrator brought in received £100,000 within 7 days for selling Victor Moses for £2 million. And I think I could have sold him in my sleep. So that really was the bugbearer for me. And I just can't get my head around that. Couldn't never get my head around it. And to extend the time limit he'd already told me that was going to come for new owners and extend it again, then there comes a time where you have to think, well, my family comes first, really. And while I will miss that, because they have been the best fans I've ever worked with, I'm looking forward now to the QPR fans, because they're another one. Whenever I've come down, it's been just fantastic atmosphere at Loftus Road, and it's something that now I want to get my life geared to helping the club now go forward, stabilise this season, and then take the club on as the best I can, because everyone knows I want to manage in the Prem before I pack in, and not many Premiership clubs are at the moment knocking on the door.
Ishan, if I can ask you,
Sure.
just how do you think the running of the club for you will be different to Flavio Briatore?
Look, I think in retrospect, there are certain decisions that could have been made differently. But I assure you, whatever decisions were made with the best intentions at heart, and everybody wanted the best for QPR. But now it's time to move forward and learn from the mistakes of the past. And the most important thing that I want to stress is that stability is the bedrock of success, and we recognize that. And that's why we have Neil here on the job. I believe he's the right man for the most important position in the club. He brings stability as well as a vision. And I think Neil and I will work closely together to take QPR into what I think is going to be exciting times ahead.
Can you assure him, and have you assured him, that that 3.5-year contract actually means a 3.5-year contract?
Well, I don't know where you got a 3.5.
Can I answer that? I think when you talk about that, Ishan and Amit, like we've spoken together, I think everybody that knows me, I'm a northerner, and sometimes, believe it or not, I do speak probably things that I shouldn't. But the meetings I've had with these two gentlemen, I've come away, and my family have come away thinking we want to work for these people. Yeah, and I think you can all look back at the past of what's happened over the last few years. All I can say is I'm convinced that Flavio, Bernie and all the others are mad QPR fans. And I hope that they enjoy watching the games under my jurisdiction. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's not what's happened in the past. It's what's going to happen in the future. And everybody at the club at the moment is rallying round.
Finally from me, and it's directed to you, Ishan, again, financially, how much money could you tell us will Neil Warnock have come the summer?
No comment.
Look, it's obviously we can't give you details, but Neil and I'll sit together. We'll come up with what's best to do in a financially prudent way, as well as something that moves us forward towards our goals.
So in other words, we're not telling you. Okay.
Any questions from the floor, or do we want to go straight into